Hey guys, what's up? Super Game Bob here, and today I'm going to show you how I clean Super Nintendo game cartridges. We have one that's in really rough shape. We have a whole bunch of them actually. I'm going to show you a couple of them, and we're going to get them cleaned up, and hopefully we're going to get them working. So stick around. Alright guys, so here we have two Super Nintendo games that I recently picked up. They are Final Fight and Super Castlevania 4. And as you can see, they're in pretty dirty condition. I don't know if you can see the pins in there, but they are pretty bad. I don't know if we're going to be able to get these working, but we're going to try anyway. Alright, so let's put that one aside for now, and we're going to work first on Final Fight. So we're going to need our 3.8mm game bit, and we have to open up the game, and I have another video out there on NES games. Watch that first if you haven't already. That'll tell you a list of all the equipment you're going to need to do these kind of cleanings. Alright, so let's see. Well, it's pretty bad, but it's nowhere near the worst I've ever seen. We're actually going to do a little bit different today than we did the last time. On the NES video, what I did is I basically jumped right into cleaning the board. Well, today we're not going to start with the board. We're actually going to start with the case, because the case is terrible on these. They look like they've been in a basement or a garage or something. So what I have here are just some Clorox cleaning wipes, and what I'm going to do is basically just clean all the gunk and dirt and stuff off of the cartridge. Now, you have to be careful that you don't damage any of the labels or anything like that, but the plastic is fairly robust and can usually take quite a bit of abuse while you're cleaning it. So you should be able to get the plastic itself sparkling. You just want to easily go over any of the labels so as not to damage them. Now, I mean, you can see how much dirt we're getting off of this cartridge. This was probably one of the worst as far as just dirtiness goes. I'm going to be showing a couple of videos soon. I have not attempted cleaning of these other cartridges that I got in this lot of video games, but some of them may not be fixable. This is the first time I've ever had to say that about a cartridge. The pins look like they were rusting almost, which, if that's the case, I don't know if I'll even be able to fix them with normal methods. So, alright, now that that's done on the back piece, we can see it is much cleaner we're going to put this aside, and we're going to not lose the screws in the cover here, and we're going to do the same thing to this front cover. Okay. Now this is where you want to pay particular attention to not damaging the label, because this front label is the hardest one to replace, and also, unfortunately, the easiest to damage. Just wipe it gently. Some of them stand up better than others. This is one of the labels that has like a plastic coating over it, so it's actually fairly robust and a little bit hard to actually damage. But some of them, especially the later releases, do not have that, and they are very easy to damage while cleaning. So I have these Clorox wipes here. I like them because they're not very wet, but they're wet enough to get the cleaning done. Alright. Actually, that one wasn't too bad. So you can see now, it's fairly clean. Well, let me do some more cleaning here. There's some gunk in the cracks. So let's see what we can do. Now this is the part about retro gaming that honestly I could do without. I don't like this part of it. I don't like having to clean out God knows what from the cracks in the plastic of game systems and cartridges. I don't want to have to do this. But sometimes, like all of these games, they were a gift for me and my son. Just somebody who had these from back in the day and never used them anymore, so thought we would get some use out of them, and now here we are. Alright, so now that that's clean, we can get concentrated on cleaning the circuit board itself. So, get some of my cleaning supplies ready. Alright. Now, I'm actually going to use a bit more of the brass polish than I normally would, just because these pins are very, very dirty. And my goal is to get them clean, 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 clean. Alright. So it doesn't take much. You just want to buff the pins and then wipe the excess off so that it can dry. And then toss that to the side. Gonna flip over the board, and we're gonna repeat on this side. So I get the Q-tip wet with brass polish. Oh, not enough. Here we go. And I just like to spread it around, and then you can, it's hard to tell on camera, but you can see as you're doing this, there'll be lines on the pins where the oxidation and any dirt and debris is, and those will just melt away as you're buffing the pins out. So just want to take that off. Alright, so now you can see there's quite a bit of a like hazy residue on there. That is the brass polish. What's left over from it, that is the that is the grit that's in the mild abrasive that's in this. So if we take a dry Q-tip and buff those pins, they'll start to sparkle. And you can see it's removing more and more dirt because that Q-tip is black. So there we go. Nice and shiny, but we're not done yet. Flip it over. Now I have not tested these games, these two games here. I haven't tested any of the games I got in this lot, just because they are so dirty that I don't want to test them in any of my consoles until I've had a chance to clean them. So I can tell you this though. These games, many of them would not have worked before doing this. Alright, so we swipe alcohol on there, and that is to remove the last traces of dirt, oxidation, and brass polish. You can see that that's relatively clean Q-tip, but we're not done yet. We have one more Q-tip to go. So, you'll see that there's a very, very, very slight haze on there. What we're going to do is we're going to take a dry Q-tip and do one final buff. And this is going to remove the last bit of any oxidation that's left on there. You can see that there's just a little bit of dirt on the Q-tip. That means we got most of it. And with that, we're done. So, let's put it all back together. Now, just like in my NES game repair video, you can only put these in one way. They just do not fit if you're putting them in wrong. But, for your reference, this is the back of the cartridge. This is the back of the circuit board, and that faces up. But you can see that it is keyed and can only fit in one way, so you don't have to worry about messing it up. Now, you can see there are tabs here. These tabs hook into the hole and close down. And now we're going to take these screws, place them in the holes. And what I like to do is take my tool without any screwdriver attachment, and I run them backwards until I hear an audible click. Once I hear that click, I then tighten the screw down. Now the reason for doing that is you're making sure that the metal screw, because metal is a lot harder than plastic, you're making sure that that metal screw is going to go in the exact same threads that it was in previously. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, because if you don't do that, you would basically be cutting new threads into the plastic and weakening the plastic. So, there we have it. We have a nice clean game. One more thing we have here is a name on here. Now, to remove that, let me show you how I do that. First thing you're going to need to do is get yourself a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and wet it down slightly. Okay, here we are. I have my Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and erase. And I don't know if you can see that well on camera, but that name is virtually gone. The one thing you definitely want to do when you're using a magic eraser is be very careful of the label, because this will damage the label. I've accidentally done it before, so you want to make sure that you don't do it. Now let's wipe the water off, and you can see it is clean as a whistle. No more name on there. So, next up, we have Super Castlevania 4. Now this one, as you can see, has a massive coat of dust and funk and whatever on there. I don't even know what that is. I don't want to know what it is because it's probably something gross. But we can definitely clean it. So, first up, we have to open this cartridge up. Take out these screws so that we don't lose them. Put them off to the side. And we're going to open this up and take a look at the pins. And actually, the pins aren't bad in these. What these ones have that's bad is just they were improperly stored for a long time. They were stored probably in somebody's closet or garage or basement or something. And so they've just picked up a lot of dust over the years. And cat dander, dog dander, whatever this is, I don't even know. But we definitely can get this clean. Now, this is something I should have done before with the other cartridge actually, is remove the name with the magic eraser while the cartridge was disassembled, because there's less chance of damaging the label. Now, you will have to replace these magic erasers fairly often. They do wear out, and you can see, I mean, this one's kind of gross looking, but you know what? It still works. Alright. So one place that I always like to make sure I clean is inside here, because this is the only part that really comes in direct contact with your console. So you want to make sure that that's clean. Now, moving on to the label here. You want to be very careful of the label itself. And now, today, after today's video, towards the end here, I actually got a bit of a surprise. I will be showing you gameplay footage from these actual carts that I am cleaning right now, just to prove that they work. I recently, for Christmas, got a Retron 5, and now I am able to capture HD game footage from these old game systems and have it in my YouTube videos. So, alright, there we go. Look at how much better that looks already. And what did this whole thing take us? Couple minutes? Alright, let's grab some Q-tips. Grab that. So, let's scrub those pins. And you can see this stuff goes on white, but then it starts turning gray to black because it's picking up all the dirt and oxidation off those pins. Alright, next side. Now, when you do this for your cartridges, some of them you might be able to skip cleaning the outside of them. Some of them you might not be able to. It's on a case-by-case basis. You really don't know what you're going to have until you open them up or until you look at them in person. Sometimes I open up games and honestly, the pins look bright and shiny. They probably would work. I still clean them anyway, especially if I've already opened up the cartridge. You came halfway, you might as well finish the job. Alright, so that's it for the brass polish. Let's get some alcohol on here. Now I like to get them real wet and wipe down all the surfaces because I don't want to leave any residue behind. And then I take the clean side and I wipe off the alcohol just to accelerate the drying process. Now, one final step. As I showed you before, we're just going to take a clean Q-tip and buff those pins out as best we can. All right. And that's it. Now it's time to close it back up. And there we have it. Another game cleaned up and ready to test. Okay, so here we are on my Retron 5 and we are about to try out Super Castlevania 4. Let's see if it works. I'm going to plug it in now and there it is, it's loading. So let's start. Okay. I've always loved the soundtrack to this game. It's fantastic. I actually have it on vinyl record.
Well, it looks like to me like this game works. So, I think it's safe to say we can try out Final Fight next. Alright. Now, one thing I love about the Retron 5, and basically the reason that I got it, is because I can save states. And let's see. Return to main menu. Alright. Let's take out Super Castlevania, and we're going to plop in Final Fight. And that one works as well. So, let's see. Now, one thing that's really cool here about the Retron 5 is that I'm able to record full HD video from all these old consoles, and it actually makes recording super easy. Whereas before I had to do all sorts of, I had to get adapters to be able to play games and record them, or use emulators. The trouble with emulators is a lot of times they don't work right. But Retron 5 seems to be the best way so far that I've found anyway. To play these games and record the footage. Now, believe it or not, I've never actually played Final Fight. This is the first time I've played it, and I love it. It's a classic beat-em-up game, and I love beat-em-ups. I find them to be some of the most fun kinds of games that there are to play. And I love the way they name each character. I think it's hilarious. Wong Hu, 2P, Billy, Bread. What the heck kind of a name is Bread? One thing that I don't like about the Retron 5 is the controller. It leaves a lot to be desired. The buttons are fairly responsive, but they're very loud and clicky. I'm sure you can hear it in my video here. The ergonomics leave a little to be desired as well. They're not the worst, but they're also not the best I've ever used. But what's good about the Retron 5 is it does have controller ports for all of the original systems that it supports. So Genesis controllers, NES controllers, as well as Super Nintendo controllers. And I can take out this boss. He killed me again. Now he's dead. Alright. So, that's it. And until next time, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.